Thanks to the support as a channel member, Chris Spencer. Well, there we go. We survived season 1 and now the great rebuild begins. We've not got actual money to spend, but what we have got is loads of spare wage budget because most of the squad are out of contract and leaving. We're going to have to reinvest wisely here. And that's assuming the board actually give me a new contract because my contract is also up with most of the first team squad, and we didn't exactly have an outstanding season, did we? Hello and welcome to part 10 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, it is our season review and transfer special, hopefully. I say hopefully, because I'm out of contract on the 30th of June. And it's the 20th of April. We've got no more games to play. The season is over. I'm going to act as if I am getting a contract renewal. But until I actually get it, there are no guarantees in the world. Lots of the squad in a similar situation to me. If we highlight everybody who is out of contract, as you can see, it's most of them. The only players who are actually tied down for one more year, inexplicably, Matt Derbyshire, who at 39 years old, yeah, that might have been a bad signing, but he's cheap. Mark Little, Connor Hall signed a contract extension. Romeo Beckham signed for long term. And we've got our backup goalkeeper because it's a youth contract. So we don't have a lot to build a team around. I think almost all of these I will allow to leave. And then we just have to figure out what to do with the spending that we've got left. We've got a few Premier League youngsters already due to come in. Most of them are midfield players. So I guess we'll see what happens as we go along. But first, we should have our season review, which hasn't happened yet. And then hopefully a contract for your old pal Kev. It's what we're all hoping for here. Weirdly, lots of stuff is happening and we don't seem to be getting a season review. I guess we'll get one eventually, but we've avoided paying any tax because we made a loss. We've got some more sponsorships coming in and we have a new scouting budget. So we will actually do some scouting. Good old Francis has given us a big pile of cash. And then we do have some budgets. So he's actually given me a transfer budget, which we never had before. The wage budget hasn't gone up. I mean, we're just going to put that all straight in there. I'm tempted to do the same with the scouting budget and just get the wage budget as high as we possibly can. But for now, we'll leave it on scouting. But I'm a little alarmed that my committed spending has shot all the way up to there because I've not renewed contracts. We've still got only 4 players staying. That's a worry. I'm hoping that's just a good old-fashioned Football Manager error. Because if we're going to have a squad of like 8 people and we've used all our budget, I've made some mistakes and need to go and look for a new job. I know there'll be people saying, Kev, go look for a new job anyway. There's not loads of options available for us, really. I mean, we could do a sideways jump, but I don't really see much point in doing that. Versailles does interest me. But I don't think I'd get a job in France at this point without being able to speak any French. So we'd probably, if we were leaving England, have to look at Wales, Ireland or Northern Ireland. And I just feel like they're all a step down. They're the kind of job we go to if we get fired and have to, rather than... I mean, I love the fact that his cash injection means I've now repaired the club's financial damage. You're welcome, Francis. Can we actually... In fact, now he's done that, can I have a coaching course? And then can we also do all of the things? No, I don't really want to be professional. What would we like? I guess just better facilities. Let's waste the money. I'm not going to be here long, but I'm ready to waste the money. Because it needs doing. We might be here 5 years. Who knows? That's the important thing. Continental B being studied for already. Still no season review though. So... I'll see you when either that happens or when these players arrive. Oh, we have breaking news. We have a new contract. I think that's the same money I'm on now. Yeah, so we don't need to move house. We have a new contract. They want me to repair the club's financial damage. Already done, Francis. Already taken care of that for you. And he wants me to finish in the playoffs. I think we can probably manage that. That's kind of in line with what I was thinking as well. It's only another year, so no long-term security, but at least I'm not going to be leaving. That's the important thing. And now we are just waiting for our season review and or new signings to arrive. Is it here? No. Oh. Ah. Okay. Well, I'll see you when something happens. Oh, a 37-year-old. And we have our Premier League youngsters in. And look at these star ratings. We've got some good boys here. I think we're going to need a tactical change because four of them are central midfielders. So we're going to have to do something a little different tactically because we don't use any central midfielders at the moment. But we've got Jack Morehouse, who's a centre mid who can also play as an attacking midfielder, as a shadow striker. He's 19 years old. He's Irish. He's got 3.5 stars of current ability, 4.5 stars of potential, and was formerly at Manchester United, not on loads of money as well, which is really important. We've also got Joe Knight, who's 19 years old. He's English, and he can play as a defensive midfielder or an attacking midfielder, but is better as a centre mid. He's formerly of Brighton and similarly has loads of current ability, loads of potential ability. We've got Joe Gibbard, who, same story again, 19 years old, best as a centre mid, can also play defensive mid and a little bit of attacking midfielder. He is off of Crystal Palace. And then Ruben Curley, what do you know? Same profile, centre mid, who can also do a bit of defensive midfielder and a bit of attacking midfielder. And he is off of Manchester United. And then just for something a little bit different, we got Ismail Kabia, who is a winger. He's natural on both wings, although he is a right footer. I'm tempted to use him off of the left as like an inside forward inverted winger, keep Beckham out on the right hand side. And he is off of Arsenal. So that is, as far as I'm concerned, 5 very good signings, 4 of them very similar players. We don't need any more midfielders this summer. I mean, we could mould them into the system that we currently play. We're currently using 2 DMs. We could go with just Hall up front, drop an attacker in there and go to 2 DMs and an attacking midfielder. That doesn't get anybody in their natural position. It gets 3 of them in positions they can play. Or we could do something like that, where we've maybe got 2 centre mids and someone as a defensive midfielder. We could even go full diamond. Then the problem is we're then not using Beckham or what's his face, the new winger. What was his name? Kabia. So I'm thinking it will either be a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, because we've got 2 good wingers and 4 good centre mids and a good striker, just one of. So it's got to be one of those 2, hasn't it? Possibly we'll just train both and then see how they pan out. But one thing is for sure, we need to spend the rest of our budget, of which there is not a lot, on defenders. And finally, we get our season review. So here we go. Signing of the season, Chris McGinn. Actually, can't really argue with that. Yes, he only played 10 games. Yes, he was one of our panic signings, but he slotted straight in at left back and immediately became a starter despite being young. So we probably need to give him a real contract this summer because he's currently only on a non-contract. We were supposed to finish top half. That's exactly where we finished, and Connor Hall finished top scorer. All positive stuff there. Money-wise, it's first season, so none of it really means anything. There are our benchmarks for next season, and this was our team of the year. Max Stead in goal, a back four of Calder, Dean, Pratt and Dornelli. Oh, I miss Dornelli. Bates and Murrumbedzi in midfield, Thomas and Lowe as the wingers, not Beckham, obviously didn't play enough games, and then Hall and Newton up front. That all makes sense to me. Player of the year was Hall. Young player of the year was Pratt, who will be going back to his parent club, so no Pratt next year, very sad. McGinn, as we know, signing of the season. Top scorer was Hall. Most assists was Hall. Most man of the matches was Hall. Highest average rating was Hall. Connor Hall, quite good. And he's also set the benchmark for a lot of our club records as well. Did he break any competition records? He did not. So that is that finally done. And this, I think, is the tactic that I've settled on. We're going to be doing a 4-3-3. We have got a 4-2-3-1 that we're training as well, but we're basing it on a wing play mentality. And if we look at our squad planner based on that, you can get a proper idea of what we've got to work with based on the ones whose contracts aren't expiring. So we don't have a goalkeeper. We only have a non-contract McGinn as our left back, an ageing Mark Little at right back, and no centre backs. But centre mid, we're fine. Gibbard, Curley and Knight can all play as the DM. And then we've got Morehouse as well, who drops into the 4 and can play in centre mid. So we're probably done for these positions. On the left, we've got Cabia. On the right, we've got Beckham. And then up front, we've got Hall with Derbyshire as the backup. So it is all about, once we get to the 1st of July, signing defenders and a goalkeeper. I am still really alarmed by that. I think that's wrong because so much of the squad are out of contract. There's no way that's our committed spending. I just think that's a glitch, and it will actually end up being much lower than that when these contracts actually expire. And there we go. We have our first defender in, Sam Murray, signed directly from Manchester United. Another one of these youngsters, Sam Murray. He is a complete wing-back, 20 years old, can also play centre-back and wing-back and further forward. I mean, he's not playing centre-back at 5'9", is he? But he is very much my kind of left-back. Much, much better than poor Chris McGinn, who I was just speaking so highly about. But that is another Premier League youngster. And I don't normally go back to the well after I've got my first batch, but he came back up on my scout reports and seems jolly good. So let's get him into the squad planner. And there you go. We actually finally have our first defender, and we do need some backup wingers as well. It'll be fine. The squad is taking shape. And also, that's now at a much more reasonable level. We are closing in 3 weeks away from the 1st of July. There might even be more stuff we do before then. I'll show you if we do. Otherwise, we're waiting for free transfer day. Well, we squeezed one more signing in before we got to the 1st of July. Jamal Blackman coming in as our new goalkeeper, 6'6", and you can't teach that. 4 stars of current ability. We have a proper goalkeeper. The last time he played was, I mean, he has had a season of no football, but before that, he played 39 games in League One, was on the books at Chelsea for years without ever getting a game, but had a few loans out. At League One, League Two level, where he played plenty of football over the years. 169 career appearances, all in the Football League. For us to get him at this level is an enormous signing for an enormous man. If he's not in the Dream 11, I'll be flabbergasted. He's not in the Dream 11. How is that 5'11" tiny man better than Blackman? That's absurd. But I hadn't noticed that even before we've done our signings. I mean, Blackman's right up there. But even before we've done our signings, we're second favourites for promotion. Our squad is minuscule. Actual players, we have a first team squad, if you include McKinn and Demon, which you probably shouldn't, 14 people. So 12 people if you don't include the youth player and the non-contract guy. Some of them are probably not going to get very near the team, like Derbyshire, like Little. But the rest of the team is starting to take shape. But as we've already seen, there are certain areas where we are quite desperate for players, certainly defensively and as backup players out wide. Money-wise, we've got about three grand a week to play with, unless we sell somebody. So we're going to have to focus on youth. We're not going to be able to go out and get a whole bunch of first teamers. We probably need 5 defenders. 4 defenders at least, plus a couple of wingers. So we're looking at 6 or 7 players. Obviously, we can do loans as well, but it is the 1st of July. That means the free transfers, the non-contract players are available, and we're going to go and try and cherry pick the best ones. We have a big batch of players in, and of course, I started things off with another midfield player. We needed a proper defensive midfielder. We have one. Ollie Ewing is a 22-year-old Welsh defensive midfielder, can also play central midfield or attacking midfield. It's the profile of the summer. 3.5 stars current ability, 4.5 star potential. Previously of Leicester and a loan spell at Penabont, my former Twitch team. How very exciting. On the Welsh focus, I mean, it wasn't conscious, but we've got another Welsh player. Keston Davis is a 28-year-old Welsh centre-back. He is previously of the New Saints and Pontypridd. Pontypridd, isn't it? I did manage in Wales. I should know how to say the Welsh clubs. Yeah, I'm sure it's Pontypridd. Is that right? Do I remember my Welsh properly? Also formerly of Swansea. We actually have a centre-back, which is nice. Justin Devaney, is a Northern Irish centre-mid who can also play attacking mid and out wide on the left-hand side. Just gives us a slightly more attacking option, and we will be training him to play as a backup winger for us as well. Kenny Coker is a 21-year-old English striker who can be our backup to Connor Hall for the season. Got 13 goals for Cray. 13 goals, 7 assists actually for Cray on loan from Norwich last season. Lewis Banks is a 28-year-old English right back who's formerly of Altrincham and lots of others, Stoke and various others in there. Cade Craig returns to the club. If you remember, he was on loan with us last year. One of the loans that got recalled in January but got released by Solihull, so he comes in and joins us permanently. Natural at centre-back and left-back. He's coming in to play centre-back for us. And then Daniel Bramall is natural on both wings and will give us the much-needed cover over there. He's formerly of Everton, and then lots of free transfers, most recently with Worksop, where he played 33 times last year. So if we now have a look at our squad depth, we still need a backup goalkeeper, but at left back we've got Murray as a starter, McGinn, who's still here but we're probably going to release because we've got Banks and Craig who can also play there. At right back we've got Banks as the starter, Little as the backup option. Little is our new club captain as well because he came in and saved us last year. At centre back we've got Craig and Davies as our starters, and we don't really have any backups. Banks, Little, Murray are all fullbacks, so we probably need at least one more centre back. We'll certainly look to explore loans as well. Ewing will be our starter as our defensive midfielder, with all those centre mids able to cover there as well. And then in central midfield, Ewing, Morehouse, well, Ewing won't play there, but Morehouse, Knight, Devaney, Gibbard, Curley. We're going to train a few of these boys to play out wide as well, because we're going to need some cover further forward. On the left-hand side, we've got Cabia and Bramall who can play on that side. And then on the other side, those two again, plus, of course, Romeo Beckham. And then up front, Hall as the starter, although he's injured for the next month or so will miss the start of the season. And then Coker and Derbyshire as backup. We are over our wage budget now, so we're probably gonna have to focus on loans for the rest of the summer. We definitely still need at least one more defender and a backup goalkeeper. So I guess it's now time to explore the loan market. Well, we've not been able to find anybody who we can bring in on a free loan yet. They normally come in closer around deadline day, but some old school lower league shenanigans. Let's lower the bonuses, get 39 grand going into our transfer budget, and whack that into the old wage. We're still over wage budget. Okay, that wasn't as effective as I hoped it would be. Well, we finally managed to find somebody to join us on loan for free. Reece Evans joins from Queen's Park just until the end of February. 7 months was the longest I could do for some reason, but he's not going to cost us anything, and he can deputise up front while Connor Hall recovers from his injury. So that was an important one to bring in. And then we've gone even further over our wage budget to get the extra defender we needed, Ben Tozer, 35-year-old centre-back, but lots and lots of experience, played lots and lots of league football. Unfortunately, spent a number of years at Northampton Town. Can't have everything though. Over 500 games in levels higher than us, the Football League and then National League. So I think he's a pretty decent addition to the side. And that brings us to the first day of the season. So this is what our starting 11 looks like for the first day of the season. Some recognisable names in there with the likes of Blackman and Tozer, and obviously Romeo Beckham on that side. But I think it's a much stronger team, much better suited to the players that we've got. And I think we've got a real good chance this season. The media definitely agree we're favourites to win the league. We've got Devaney and Cabia are both in the media Dream 11, and fingers crossed we can start things off with a bang against Blythe Spartans in the next video. Cross everything. We need a good start to the season because I'm well over my wage budget. So if we end up down in mid-table again with the board getting grumpy, that might be it. We're taking a calculated risk to try and get a promotion this year and get our career properly underway. But if you've enjoyed that transfer special, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.